Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the penultimate race week here in the Midwest F1 League, where it is also attempt number 2 of the Midwest F1 Sprint format. Two 25% races tonight, both with one-shot quali, and it's being held at both the Shanghai International Circuit and the Jeddah Cornish Circuit. Two very demanding tracks looking to test both the patience and testicular fortitude of the Division 1 drivers here tonight. And it's a very crucial round as well because EDA Scornsey only down by 15 points to that of Ryan Rod's heading into tonight. It's a very, very crucial round, and it's at two unbelievably demanding tracks. I mean, I didn't really get to participate that much in China. I got taken. I would say I enjoy both these tracks, but not really. It's one of those love-hate relationships. I love China as a track, but I've got some very poor memories of this circuit. As if you remember the Division 3 final round last season, I got completely done in by an Alpine on the way into Turn 1, and I think the Mercedes team ended up losing the Constructors' Championship by, I think it was less than 10 points, really, so I'm absolutely correct in using a Martin Brundle here, quote here. Number one, because we're in China. Number two is because I was in a Mercedes, but I hadn't been that disappointed since Shrek 2. Someone has pressed the button quite early. Didn't really expect that. I think someone's going to be perhaps in trouble here at the end of it. But as I said before, one-shot qualies here, and then two 25% races, which actually evens it out. 14 laps here at China, and then 13 laps over in Jeddah for the second race. So we're in for a very interesting night. The last time we tried doing this was a couple weeks ago. We were to go to Portimao and then Coda, and it unfortunately got canceled. We're going to go along here with Aero Racing Design in the Williams. This is a driver definitely to watch as he heads into turns 1 and 2. You really got to be careful on the way through. This is one of those corners that in the race will so test your patience, because some drivers, having patience is the most difficult thing as a racing driver, is being able to let off and actually have that patience, and it's very, very tricky, and he seems to be doing okay so far. Okay being down P15 at the moment as he heads down into this turn 6, out of the kink here through, I believe this is going to be turn 7 eventually. Where's my track map? There it is. Yes, through turn 7, through turn 8. Got to be careful of oversteer going through the corner. Got to be careful of the curve on the inside of the corner, for sure. Turns 9 and 10 coming up now. Tight braking zone. Very much oversteer on the exit of the corner. Very reminiscent to coming into the Wellington Straight at Silverstone, for that matter. Down the straight into the 90-degree corner of turn 11. Then through 12 and 13, the banked right-hander leading into the DRS, the biggest, really one of the biggest overtaking zones on the track, and I'd even say on the F1 calendar. This is an absolutely brilliant complex here, this third sector, if you ask me. Down into this very, very tight right-hander of turn 14 and 15. It does open up slightly at the exit of it, which you'll see here. Hard on the brakes, lock up going in. Takes up a decent amount of exit. I'd like to see a little bit more. Would have carried more speed through this final little kink here of turn 16. Gotta be careful of track limits. And I believe he's going to stick this within the top 10. And he actually goes 8th, but it is EDA T-Rose on pole. Scornsey in second. Oh, and ADRT Mead was disqualified from the session at the end of it. Now, if you happened to watch last week's race in Canada for Division 2, you'd know that EDA Mead very, very quick. Ryan Rod's, look at that. 1/1000th of a second off of pole, and then Scornsey about 6/100ths off behind that. Wow. It does not get any closer than that. 1/1000th of a second separating T-Rose and Scornsey, and Ryan Rod's rather. That is going to be very interesting. Let's see if the drivers can play it chill into turn number 1. Hopefully they do. So I tell you what, a safety car here would be very detrimental to any strategy they have going, which, mind you, isn't a lot, considering that we are only doing 25% races here. Jacko up to P7. I'm sure he is capable of better. Ryan Rod's in second. The lights are coming on. 5 lights. and they're off. And it looks like off the line, Ryan Rod's got a really good start. Scornsy did not, however. He's got Dace to the inside as they go into the first corner. The Mercedes just gets the advantage out in front of T-Rose, but it's not over yet. To the inside heavily is Dace. Will they be able to hold position going through the second corner here, side by side still? Side by side for the lead still as well. And it looks like Ryan Rods does get around the outside of the Alfa Romeo of T-Rose. Scornsy was able to fend off Dace, but was it just for now? We have Will Ans off there towards the back. Unfortunate for him, as it looks like Aero Racing Design getting shuffled around here through as well. El Majaco has fallen down as well. Big shuffling about going on here. 3 abreast between the McLaren, the Haas, and the Williams as well. Somehow that was able to be sorted out, but at the as this goes on, the top 5 starting to pull away. Jacko down to the inside, nearly gets to the left rear tire of JCast, but is able to hold on. KD35, I believe, got around the McLaren just then. That looked a brilliant move, as it finally starts to be settled out here as they head into turns 11, 12, and 13. Smith Pell, is he getting around Yolmir? It's side by side between these two. Smith Pell on the softs. Is he going to have an advantage coming out of the corner? The answer will most likely be yes, as the grid heads down the very long straight into turn number 14. Tiger NASCAR, he's side by side here, getting around to the McLaren of Edwin. Scavney now, he wants up through the field as well. Is he going to make the dive down in the corner? Doesn't look like he is. Big contact there. The AlphaTauri of Mitch Burns went up behind him. The Mercedes goes around. That's Yolmir. Spins it round. Somehow, did he evade wing damage? I'm not quite sure he did, but Ryan Rod sets the fastest lap. Chiro's in second, and now the gap starting to form. However, Scornsy still right there, still doing his best. KD35, can he perhaps wear down the Alpine of El Majaco here? Mind you, the championship battle, the Constructors' Championship, isn't that far off either. Between that of Mercedes, as Tiger NASCAR, something's happened with him. He's spun around. That is on exit of turn number 3. He's going to get overtaken by the Mercedes of Yolmir. As we work back up, as I was saying, the Constructors' Championship fight still, it's kind of in it. Let me look at the points really quick. Forgive me for doing this. I should know it off the top of my head, but I don't. It's not that big of a gap. It's less than 100 points, so I mean, one good result could go in favor of Mercedes, and it looks like it's not quite played out that way so far. It looks like Alpine at the moment is just simply having the better day. 1048 to 973 is the total. As we look down, can KD35 make a move past El Majaco here as they head down the back straight? It looks like Super has finally joined the session, but all too late, I'm afraid. He's not going to get to take part, I don't think. Down to the inside, still looks KD, late on the brakes, nothing to be made just then. Remember, DRS hasn't even been opened yet. We're going to be seeing lots of overtakes as it looks like Scavney and Smith Pell side by side here as they head into the final corner. This is turn 16. Side by side, one goes wide, the other has to avoid. DRS enabled. Meeb is actually going to gain the place on Scavney, Smith Pell and Scavney for that matter, without DRS still using his battery. But with the mistake made by both the Ferrari and the McLaren, the Haas of Meeb was able to skirt on by. And that is the patience that we're talking about there, just waiting for the drivers ahead of you to make these mistakes. And he's absolutely capitalized on their mistake there. Nicely done for Meeb, who, mind you, started dead last after invalidating his quali lap, the one-shot quali. Look at the position change. Yeah, he's up 10 spots. Dude is unbelievably quick. No doubt about it. Only about what? Oh, big slide for T-Rose. Oh, did he not take any damage from that? How has he done that? T-Rose has managed to absolutely smack the inside wall there, coming off of turn number 10, and he's kept it in one piece. That leaves the battle now between, as Aero Racing Design is going to get past T-Rose here, I believe, although I will say T-Rose doing nicely to kind of hold on despite the mistake that he did make. Look at the Haas of JCast up there as well. He wants down to the inside. Is he going to be able to get it? He's found his way around the Alfa Romeo at least. But mind you, the gap from Ryan Rods to Scornsy, 1.2 seconds. That's outside of DRS. As T-Rose, he does eventually come in. Now, on the camera angle that we had, it didn't appear that he had legitimate damage, but he must if he's coming in this early. Does Meeb, does anyone have a move to be made down into turn 14? To the inside looked Aero Racing Design side by side with the Haas down into the corner. I believe JCast did get around the outside, although it's not clear just yet, and yes, he does. But now, GSR Ryan Rods comes in, followed by EDA Scornsy. Have they potentially come in too early? As well as Dace, as well as JCast, as well as Meeb, as well as Smith Pell, as well as Murphinselli. Bold strategy here, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for him. And now everyone and their mother decides to come in. That being Ryan Rods, Scornsy, and Dace. Now, does Majako have DRS enough to get around the Williams of Aero Racing Design? He's going to look to the inside. KD is not close enough to make a move, but potentially can someone make a mistake heading into 14. Majako goes really wide. Switching back to the right side is Aero Racing Design. Does he have it for him here? Round the right side, and they're going to race into the pits. This is beautiful here. What's going to happen? Majako takes the lead into the pit lane. Unbelievable there. That was just pretty. Oh, God, that'll be on highlight reels for ages. Kate Thomas takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Majako went deep into the corner, had a poor exit. Racing Design went back to the inside, and they raced each other into the corner to get into the pit lane. Absolutely brilliant stuff here. Interesting. So does Yolmir potentially try to defend EDA Scornsy? Very Checo Perez-like maneuvers potentially going to be made by Yolmir as JCast heavy on the brakes. Jacko wants to the inside into the corner, and he does make it happen for now. Remember, the corner switches back and forth. This room will have to be left. It's going to be side by side still. Brilliant battle this is for what will eventually be, I would assume, the 4th or 5th spot. No, going to be 5th because Will Lands hasn't stopped yet. Sorry, actually, it will probably be for 4th because both Yolmir and Will Land still hasn't pit yet. So Jacko does get the advantage over JCast, does make the move happen. Well, I don't think JCast took the corner too nicely there. He's lost a bit of time to Jacko. He's let Aero Racing Design have a window for overtaking here potentially. Meanwhile, KD35 in hot pursuit as well. No, and around goes Jacko! Oh no, and this may have been the opening that the Mercedes team needed as Jacko spins around, going through turn 7, I believe it was, comes back on track. He's got the Alfa Romeo of Murphinselli in close behind. Man, oh man, that has not gone well for Jacko, as it looks like Meeb and T-Row swapping positions here, potentially contact being made. It's a very tricky part of the circuit to go side by side through. I'll give it that. T-Row's big oversteer there, and he spins it round in the middle of the corner. And thankfully that corner is slightly banked, so it is somewhat of a self-cleaning corner there. But man, it just goes from bad to worse for the Alfa Romeo driver of T-Rose, and we were along for that. Tried to go side by side, it just didn't quite play out for him. As we look towards the back now, to the McLaren of Edwin got really to the back tire of Majako there. Contact certainly made. It looks like the McLaren of Smith Pell battling Tiger NASCAR in behind. I will say, there's so much battling, it's very hard to keep up with here. And now, as the battle between Jacko has fizzled out here with JCast, the battle with Aero Racing Design has now opened up. That, now within half a second, KD35 back to JCast. Someone's gone off back there. That's the McLaren of Smith Pell. What has happened with him? He spun it around going through turn 2 into 3. Not entirely sure. Spun around again, and Smith Pell is retired from the session. Has that been done on track? It's a full safety car. A full safety car at the death. This is going to be, man, I don't know what happened with Smith Pell there. Did he hit a wall? I don't see how you'd be going fast enough to hit a wall through that section and DNF yourself. I mean, it's certainly possible. Anything's possible. But, I mean, that boggles my mind. I'm not sure how much of a mistake that he made or was made to him. I'm not sure. But a full safety car on track. Remember, Yolmir and Willan still have yet to stop. Now, this is the important part. Do they have a set of softs left? Because I'd consider coming in for one. You get a set of softs with very little to no time left. Ryan Rods comes in. Yolmir comes in. Scornsy also comes in. What does Dace decide to do? Dace, is he going to come in? He decides to, very tentatively, I will say. Will Ans, he also comes in. Aero Racing Design. Does he come in? Yes, he does. J-Cast, the one driver to stay out. Scavney stays out as well. Kate Thomas, I believe he also stays out. This has thrown a huge wrench into the plans of the Mercedes team, Ryan Rods and Scornsy. Oh, have they performed a double stack here? They have. Yolmir falling down the order. He's only getting out of the pits now. It was a double stack for the Mercedes team, and at the expense of Yolmir, Ryan Rods has come out P4. Murphy has come out 5th. He did not have a good race going so far. He's up to P5. In between him, oh God, he's in a... This is... So he has in front of him Ryan Rods, he's got Scornsy in behind, Jacko behind him. Man, oh man, we are legitimately going to get about 2 laps of racing here in China. So much unfolding here in Shanghai. 2 laps to go. At the line this time by J-Cast has got to be sweating bullets. Put a heart rate monitor on this lad. It's got to be through the 140s now. Scavney behind. The green flag is in the air here in Shanghai. It looks like J-Cast simply has gotten the better start. What's happened back there? I believe Aston Martin had gone wide, caused a conundrum back there. Ryan Rods around the right side of Kate Thomas here. Does he find the position? Contact being made. Scornsy getting around Murphy. It's still side by side between these two. To the right, to the left rear tire of the Alpine there. Someone's gone around behind. I'm not sure who it was. Ryan Rods, can he find the left side on Kate Thomas? No, he doesn't. Now he's going to switch back to the right side. Make the move. It's a huge dive there. Scornsy, can he find the way into Ryan Rods? He almost did. Ryan Rods almost took himself, Scornsy, and Kate Thomas out, all in the go of one corner. Majacco to the inside of him is Murphy. Nearly contact there. Scornsy around the left side. Can he potentially find the back of the Mercedes coming up here? The Mercedes has a huge battle in front of him. He's got both J-Cast and Scavney. J-Cast under a lot of pressure here from the Ferrari in behind. So far, it all looks slightly calm at the moment. Remember, Scornsy, can he potentially find the inside of the Mercedes now? He's looking for it. He's not going to have the slipstream. Ryan Rods is going to be at the advantage. He tucks back into the line. Ryan Rods looks to the bottom. Scornsy hangs to the back of the Ferrari. Is a move going to be made? Is he going to try it down the inside? He's going to wait. Ryan Rods wants it deep into the corner. Scornsy's going to try the inside. J-Cast has the lead for now. Scornsy really has to get around the Ferrari here. Ryan Rods moves up to second. Scavney has lost a position. And for now, it seems Ryan Rods has a huge advantage onto the final lap of the Grand Prix. Scornsy, can he find his way around Scavney? He does. J-Cast holds the lead for the moment. Ryan Rods, I don't believe, got the best go through that corner. Scornsy has really closed up the gap now. Still looking for it. To the inside goes Scornsy. Contact on the left rear tire. All the while, J-Cast starting. He's not edging out ahead yet. Ryan Rods wants the left side. Is he going to switch back to the inside like he did with Kate Thomas? He's going to look for it. Big lock up in the corner. J-Cast goes really wide. Has given up the lead. Scornsy still right there. Still on the soft tires. Still fresh. Looks to the inside of the Haas. Onto the tires. Contact being made. And that's hindered the progress of both of them. ADR Team Eve and Will Ans have gone off back there. But we have a battle for the lead at the moment. 1 second the gap now. That contact between the Ferrari, the Haas of J-Cast and Scornsy may have just decided the race here. Yolmir getting around Murphy. Remember, he does have the penalty though. Ryan Rods has gone from 4th to 1st. On the final 2 laps of the Grand Prix, does Scornsy have anything for him here? He doesn't have that much battery. Both of them down to the last 20% into the final corner. Does Ryan Rods have a poor exit of the corner? Down goes Scornsy. No, and it looks like Ryan Rods getting away so cleanly there. Dace getting around Tiger NASCAR, but unless something happens here, it will be GSR Ryan Rods lengthening the gap at the top of the championship table. He wins the Chinese Grand Prix here in the Midwest F1 Sprint, and the effort that Scornsy had, really worth a mention, but it just wasn't enough to get around the Mercedes. Unbelievably exciting final conclusion to that Grand Prix. Scornsy's got to be kicking himself here. Although I will say, maybe in hindsight, it just was a better choice to come in and follow GSR Ryan Rods because he almost had it. So after it's all said and done here in China, Ryan Rods takes the win. Scornsy a very, very close second. J-Cast in third. Scavney fourth. Cake Thomas fifth. Driver of the day for him. 17th to 5th. El Majacco 6th. Dason 7th. Tiger NASCAR 8th. 9th Katie 35. 10th is Murph and Selly. 11th Bacon. 12th is T-Rose. Poor day for him, unfortunately. 13th Yolmir. 14th Edwin. 15th Aero Racing Design. 16th Mitch Burns. 17th Will Ans. 18th Meeb. And then rounding out the field, who did not finish the Grand Prix, is the McLaren of Smith Pell. And folks, let's do it all again. Ah, crap. Here we go again. Second edition of the Midwest F1 sprint race format this weekend. And I wasn't lying to you when I said it was two very demanding tracks. We went from Shanghai, that unbelievable race then, and then on to Jeddah. Now, in my experiences racing Jeddah, I raced in this Div 3 last season. This track requires just so much focus. I can confidently say after the 50% race, I had a really solid migraine going. That's just how hard you have to focus at this track. Absolutely no mistakes or errors can be made. It's such an unbelievable circuit. I gotta say, it might just be one of the better tracks. I know it's only had 2 real-life Grand Prix held at this circuit, but I gotta say, this track really, it's just quite unbelievable, to say the least. As the laps getting started here, we're going to go along with EDA Scornsy. All eyes on him. Can he bounce back and potentially take pole position here as he goes through the first set of corners here, 1, 2, and 3, down this little straight into 4, 5, and 6. These corners here so unbelievably difficult to get correctly. You have to take them differently really every time, and that's what's so special about this track. Really is it's another one of those tracks that you just have to play it as you go along. There's no consistency whatsoever, and if you find consistency, you're probably, at that point in time, the best driver on the grid, is really what it is. There's so many intricacies to it. I think that's the word. Yeah, surely. So many little intricate parts to this circuit that you have to get absolutely correct. And so it looks at the moment, ADRT, Meeb, and Scornsy are doing just that. Currently, they are swapping positions 1 and 2. I hate to say it, guys. I think oh, is he going to invalidate there? Wow. Okay, that got close. Somehow he didn't. I hate to say it, I almost think my energy is just completely drained after the final 2 laps of that Grand Prix just then. The whole race, really, it was a good one the entire time. Through the final corner here, the famous Max Verstappen curve. Really what it is. Home to what would have been probably the best qualifying lap of all time. GSR Ryan Rods disqualified from the session, as well as Scavney, as well as Super. And it is Scornsy on pole. Man. So if Scornsy had any sort of hard feelings left after that last race in China, he now has gotten pole by just over 2.5 tenths, and his main championship rival is down, I believe, P18. Man, these guys just keep delivering week in and week out. It's unbelievable. Very happy that I get to be a part of this here. This is just unbelievably crazy. Scornsy on pole, Meeb second, T-Rose third. Tiger NASCAR fourth, and Dace in fifth. Let's see results. Let's see what results this will yield. I'm very, very excited for this. And of course, it's a nighttime race, meaning it's only going to get better. You love to see it, you really do. As the grid lines up. Remember the very treacherous run into turn 1. It's a very, very tight corner, that also being as well turns 2 and 3. And if it's not sorted out by 4, 5, 6, 7, and the rest of Sector 1, really, we may face problems. The lights are turning on in Jeddah. We have 4, then 5, and then they're off. And who got the better start? Scornsy and Meeb get away quite evenly then. Scornsy does have the outside. Meeb down to the inside, side by side with a championship contender. Is he going to take him around the right, around the left? If only English worked. He does almost hold on to the lead there, but it doesn't quite happen. Scornsy gets the lead. T-Rose holds on to third. Tiger NASCAR in fourth. The field weaving their way through the rest of Sector 1. Dace really to the back of Tiger NASCAR there. Over the curbs they go. This is a DRS zone, not now, but it is eventually. As they head down into the banked corner of turn 13, the very wonderful hairpin. Oversteer treacherous on the way out. Ryan Rod's making his way. He's up to 15th already. Pit strategy, there you go. Lap 7 to 12 roughly, but does the undercut come into play? It very well might. Oh God, what detail am I looking for here? I'm looking for position change. So it looks like everybody, except for Ryan Rod's, Murphinselli, Scavney, and J-Cast, has stayed exactly the same. But here it is. Meeb, can he potentially get around the Alpine of Scornsy here? It's only a 0.3 of a second gap. Meanwhile, it's all very close here. I mean, look at them all. Not one gap within the top 7, 8, top 10 is outside of 0.7 of a second. All very close here. T-Rose, can he potentially find a way around Meeb into turn 1? He wants the inside. Doesn't quite make it happen. I believe Aero Racing Design wanted to move around the Ferrari of Dace. Doesn't quite make it happen. T-Rose, big slide there. That has really held up Tiger NASCAR. Jacko and Ryan Rods switching positions. That's a battle to watch then. Side by side. The teammate, the driver for Alpine, whose teammate is fighting for a championship, versus his rival, who's fighting for a championship. This is going to be neat here. Aero Racing Design, I believe, got around Dace just then. Did Dace make a mistake? He had a very tricky first go through it. Impossible Bacon down to the inside into turn 13. Does he have a move? That's a beautiful overtake there. Very nicely done from Impossible Bacon. That was actually brilliantly worked there. Meanwhile, that gap at the top of the grid, only 0.7 of a second, and it's not quite getting any larger. This is the battle I am interested in, though. It looks like Ryan Rods has eventually gotten around Elma Jacko, but Jacko's mother didn't raise no quitter, that's for sure. I believe that battle not over yet. As here's Mitch Burns, can he potentially get around Dace? Dace has lost 2 positions since the beginning of the race. It's not been a very easy go of things so far for the Ferrari driver. Can Meeb potentially find a go around Scornsy? 0.4 of a second of the gap. No DRS yet. It will be open this time by. Meeb does set the fastest lap. Mitch Burns, does he get around Dace? Dace does come in. Interesting. That I didn't expect. That's either a really early undercut or he's changing a front wing. What is it? And the front wing's coming out for the Ferrari. Not what you wanted to see. Meeb, mind you, is a reserve driver this week. Oh, and that he's forced Scornsy into a mistake there. I tell you what, Scornsy often is a robotic driver, not very prone to mistakes, if ever. And Meeb has just forced him into one there. Meeb's going to take it round the right side, and Meeb takes the top spot. T-Rose in hot pursuit as well. Ryan Rods, he now moves up to 11th. Around Will Ans, can he get past Smith Pell as well? Smith Pell on the mediums. DRS going to be open, but he doesn't even need it. He's going to find the inside, and GSR Ryan Rod's now within the top 10. Scornsy and Meeb side by side through the first corner. Contact being made. Has anyone lost front wing? I'm not sure, but that was a very close battle. Side by side. I didn't expect it to be that close. Good voice crack there. Please excuse that. That, mind you, has opened the door for the Alfa Romeo of T-Rose. So much unfolding here in the opening stages. Ryan Rod still, mind you, a 1.5 seconds back to that of Cake Thomas. Oh, does Scornsy have wing damage? It certainly looked it. By the way he's driving, I know last race we had a wing change happen, and we didn't quite see any wing damage. I believe that was on one of the Ferraris. So the game does tend to play optical illusions on you there. However, does Scornsy perhaps have wing damage? He's losing time now to the back of the Haas. That is opening the door for T-Rose, potentially opening the door for both the Williams drivers, that being Tiger NASCAR and Aero Racing Design. Very true. DRS in play now for the Alpine. Can he find the way around the right side? He's going to look for it here. Does he have it? Down into the corner. This is turn 26 and 27. He does have it before the corner. Will he have it again? Does he? No, he doesn't. So that no sort of hack there with the DRS being had. T-Rose in hot pursuit here, wants the right. I don't think Meeb is just going to get the advantage going into the corner this time. So Scornsy has the lead, albeit for now. Scavney, 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane, not what he needed. It looks like he's not got any move to be made yet. However, it looks like, look at the ground that Meeb is making up. He's within 2/10 now. This is where Scornsy's been having the mistakes being made through that couple of corners there. DRS now for the Haas. Can he perhaps find anything as we have the best camera shot in the whole of the F1 game? He's going to look around the right side. Is he perhaps going to have it into 27? And he does. So that gap, these two positions have been swapped, I believe, each of the first 5 laps of the Grand Prix. Don't mind my statistics, but what is this? T-Rose is coming in. That just seems dangerously early, and it's another lead change here. Scornsy to the inside. Meeb's going to switch back. He's going to switch back again. Can he find the right side? No, he doesn't. Perhaps is he going to find the left? I don't think he does just now. However, oh man, somehow they're not picking up track limits violations there. T-Rose comes in. Edwin comes in. Ryan Rods comes in. That's a bold move there. Ryan Rods, that drops him down to 14th at least. Perhaps even more, as KD35, I'm assuming, is going to get quite the run on him once they exit the pits. Which, will he? It's quite close. No, actually, Ryan Rod's gotten held miles ahead, hasn't he? Man, so much to keep track of. And we're still only about halfway through this race. And this is where Meeb is gaining the time on Scornsy. These few corners here through Sector 2 is where the ground is being made up. Look at him go now, back down to within 2.5 tenths here as they head through whatever combination of corners this is. I've lost count so many times. I believe this is 23, 22, 23, and 24. Now through 25, 26. To the right side goes Meeb. Round the right side, can he find it into 27? And he does. That seems to be the favorite overtaking spot so far. Mind you, Tiger NASCAR also wants in on this as well. Both of the Williams drivers, look at the pit maneuvers, the mind games being played here for Meeb. Scornsy now, down to the inside. Is the lead going to be changed again? It's still side by side between these two. Round the left side goes Scornsy. They're still side by side. What a battle this is for the lead. Major implications on the championship, at least for Scornsy. Meeb doesn't have anything to do with it. He's just here for fun, and he's putting on a show. He might actually just be losing more time than he's making up here by battling. Yet again, the two not taking turn 23 and 24 all that nicely. Round the right side now. Can Meeb do it again into the corner? He's looking for it just once more, just for the hell of it, and he does. Now, does Meeb choose to come in? Tiger NASCAR, he's under pressure from his teammate, mind you. Now, this is the important part. Do they come in? It looks like, yes, they will. Meeb comes in. He's got the Alpine behind him. Does he speed into the pits? That got certainly close there. Aero Racing Design, 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Meeb comes in. Scornsy comes in, and Tiger NASCAR comes in. We pick up now with GSR Ryan Rods, who's coming through the final corner now. Is he going to take advantage over EDA Scornsy? It sure looks like it's possible. Down the straight they go. Does Ryan Rods get him? It's certainly going to be close. Man, I think Scornsy's just barely got it. I think he does. Yes, he does. Scornsy does get the advantage here. However, ADRT Meeb does have the advantage, and even more important, Impossible Bacon has suddenly worked himself into the picture and now has the lead over both of them. As T-Rose picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, that has severely hurt him. GSR Ryan Rods I'll give him the credit. He's worked his way into the top 10. But we're still potentially looking at EDA Scornsy finishing on the podium once Aero Racing Design, Mitch Burns, and Cake decides to come in. Again, this is the dangerous thing about having these 25% races. You can't get too creative with the tire strategy, and that's exactly what's happened. Aero Racing Design, Mitch Burns, and Cake Thomas have tried to play it too cleverly here, I'm afraid, and they might end up hurting themselves. Look at this again. Meeb is just consistently track extending through that portion of the track, and he's not gotten bagged for it once, mind you. ADRT Meeb clearly on the better tires as well, and he's finding his way around Bacon. Meeb, I tell you what, he's putting on a performance tonight. It's almost uncanny how much he's battling here. Certainly deserves to be up here in Division 1 full time. And I tell you what, well, here comes Impossible Bacon. Can he find the move around the right side? Does he? It's side by side. Wow, Meeb really went deep through the corner there. Almost chopped off the front wing there of Impossible Bacon. Meanwhile, his Aston Martin counterpart of Will Ann sets the fastest lap of 129 something. That looked quite good. Scornsy now. Wow, that got close with him and Bacon. Contact made. Bacon's fallen off. Still side by side now. Does Scornsy have damage? Does Scornsy have damage? He's certainly looking like he is. Goodness me. We could be looking at a huge game changer here. Scornsy and Bacon went side by side. And no, it doesn't look now that Scornsy has damage, although goodness gracious, that looked sketchy. The walls are so close here in Jeddah. It's ridiculous. And Scornsy, oh no, 3 seconds of penalty for multiple warnings. Man, oh man, Scornsy may have done just a number on championship hopes here. I tell you what, it may be at the end of it. Ryan Rods is going to have an advantage, but it's going to be close heading into the final round at Silverstone. Tiger NASCAR, can he find the way around Bacon? Doesn't have a move to be made now. He's looking for it. The move got shut down. We're going to have 3 laps to go this time by. Actually, I'm incorrect. It's still 4 laps to go, including this one. I know how to count, I promise. But look at this. Cake Thomas hasn't stopped yet. He hasn't taken a stop. Tiger NASCAR getting right back. Whoa, big! Jesus! Wing damage everywhere. Cake Thomas, it's a virtual safety car. Impossible Bacon, rather. Whew. Oh, God, it looked like he even just hit the wall then. Oh, look at this now. The gap, I will say, it is starting to get ever so larger, though, somehow. Is Ryan Rod's battling with somebody? It doesn't really appear that. I mean, Tiger NASCAR, he's most likely going to find his way around the Alpine here, around the right side as they head through 26 and then eventually in towards 27, and he does. Now, Scornsy, though, does have DRS. That's going to be an advantage for him. Ryan Rod's currently being overtaken by the McLaren of Edwin. So, realistically, Scornsy is going to have that DRS on Tiger NASCAR. That's going to help him. Ryan Rods, he does actually have it. I didn't think he would. Although, he's going to go to the right side on Edwin here, down into the corner. And he's going to have it by a mile. Nicely done there from Ryan Rods. And now, look at this. It is just, and I mean just, a 3-second gap here. That is going to be absolutely close when it gets to go time on the final lap of the Grand Prix. ADRT Meeb by himself, 1.7 seconds the gap back to Cake Thomas. Aero Racing Design, very, very close here to Cake. I'll say that myself. That's within 3/10. Does Aero Racing Design, despite having the penalty here, does he perhaps play spoiler? He very well may. And now look at this, the gap down to within 3 seconds. Very close indeed. Scornsy falling off of Tiger NASCAR here. What has happened to Scornsy? Does he have damage of some sort? It certainly looks like he does. He's losing out on so much time to the Williams of Tiger NASCAR. He was holding up with him very nicely, and then suddenly he's not. However, this may be coming to Scornsy's aid here if Edwin can get around Ryan Rods. Here they go. Into the DRS now. Aero Racing Design overtaking Cake Thomas for the second spot. But this is important here. Does Edwin hold up the Mercedes of Ryan Rods? That gap now, surely outside of 3 seconds. It's very close. Final lap of the Grand Prix. Cake Thomas, can he take Aero Racing Design round the right side? This position at the end of the day doesn't matter. Aero Racing Design on 3 seconds of penalty, but Cake's going to fight it anyways, because Cake is just that guy. And he does eventually get it. Ryan Rod's getting around Edwin. The gap from Scornsey back to Ryan Rod's, 2.3 seconds. Not comfortable at all. Scornsey has to absolutely drive, insert metaphor here, to the wall. I mean, really, the gap now within 2 seconds, and Scornsey, good God, he's picked up another 3-second time penalty. And that may just be, for the sake of GSR Ryan Rods, it may just be a very legendary drive from that of the Mercedes driver. He is going to have an outright advantage going into Silverstone. ADRT Meeb, heading through the DRS now for the final time. Now, I said this last week in the Division 2 race. He reserved then as well for the Haas team. He went into Canada, put on an absolute clinic, and the first thing I said when he crossed the line was that in the future you'll be seeing more of him, and ADRT Meeb is going to win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Cake Thomas comes home second, Aero Racing Design third, Tiger NASCAR actually gets third, but this is crucial. It is GSR Ryan Rods taking P5, Scornsey now dropping down past his teammate of El Majacco all the way down to 10th, and Ryan Rods has pulled off undeniably one of the most legendary drives, legendary efforts in Midwest F1. He's come from 18th on the grid to finish 5th and take an outright advantage over Scornsey into the final round next week in Silverstone. It's been an absolutely unbelievable drive from the Mercedes driver, and if he wins the championship, he absolutely deserves it. 100%, no doubt about it. What a drive for Ryan Rods. So after it's all said and done, after the second week of sprint races, second effort at sprint races here in Midwest F1, it is ADRT Meeb taking the win for the Haas team. Cake Thomas second, great effort from him. Tiger NASCAR third, Aero Racing Design fourth. Ryan Rods from 18th on the grid takes fifth. Edwin sixth, Will Anson seventh, T-Rose eighth, Jacko ninth. 10th, crucially, is Scornsey. 11th, Mitch Burns. 12th is Dace. 13th, Smith Pell. 14th, Yolmir. 15th, Scavney. 16th, JCast. 17th, EDA Murphy-Sally. 18th, Katie35. Impossible Bacon, unfortunately for him, in 19th. And then rounding out the field, P20 is Super. Wow. Now, if that's any indication what next week is going to be like in Silverstone, I mean, good God almighty. It's going to be one hell of a finish to the season. Thank you all so much for watching. And we will see you next week when we take on the Silverstone circuit for the final round of the Midwest F1 season.